side seats doing ethnic cleansing.
Good evening, good evening, good evening to you, and welcome to another edition of the Stand on Business podcast. I am your host, Boss Man. All right, just had to make sure I could actually hear myself, and it seems like we are on track to. We're on track. All right, so you guys can hear me, and I can be heard. All right, so it seems as though there's a little bit of show overlap here, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be good. All right. So today it's going to be a start of a new series. Yes, the state of our union. Part 1. Consequences are here, folks. It is. But first, let's go ahead and get the beginning of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. So, do indeed support the Black Men Unfiltered Network. All right, you can support the brother and the family by sending a Cash App to the Black Men Unfiltered. All right, by Cash App, or you can send a super chat directly to the network. All right, that is functional and is good to go and is always working. Okay, good to go. Or hey, you can also support me directly. All right, the best way to support me is simply by going over to my channel, scrolling here below. All right. You can go over, actually, I'm sorry, my Cash App, support me by the Boss Man, the Objectivist there, or somebody going over to my channel and just hitting the like button and subscribing. Come on back going over here to the Foxhole and enjoy the conversation. All right. So these things will be scrolling periodically throughout the night, but as always, do indeed support the Black Men Unfiltered Network. All right. And of course, the YouTube super chat. All right. So with that in mind, I have a new series, all right, that I'm starting. And it is, as you can see, this State of Our Union Part 1. All right. So a little bit of backdrop. I have been a little reluctant to start this series, and I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of give a wrap first. So I wanted to take some time and wait a little bit after the Cheeto in chief, okay, got in office, let some time go by, see what happened, be a little bit fair, be a little bit of objective to see what happened, okay? Boy, it's some shit happening, okay? Ain't some shit happening? Now listen. I said on this network, I said on this platform, on this network, I said that any president who got in office, it could have been Kamala, it could have been Donald Trump. I said that I was going to basically give anyone the benefit of the doubt. And I said that essentially, that I wish any president, any person, no matter who it is, I wish them luck. I wish them the best, because any person has the ability to make or break the country for the most part. I said that. You can go look it up. Doesn't really matter, irrespective of my political affiliation. Okay. With that in mind, I was also very clear. Hey, greetings to you. All right, salute. I was also very clear about what my political affiliations were. I was also very clear as to why I made my political decision. Okay. Now, of course, that created some consternation, and I really don't give a fuck. I really don't give a shit. All right. Because I was very targeted as to why I made my political decision. And boy, was I fucking right. Oh, boy, was I fucking right. All right. Now, we're going to talk about some things tonight. Okay. Because I personally believe that the reasons why I made my decision are coming to fruition. We can talk about the policies. We can talk about the things he's doing, so on and so forth, yada, yada. We can talk about that. But the primary reason as to why I made my decision, salute to you. The reason why I made my decision is coming to fruition today. And that is the state of our union currently, I believe, is rocking at its fucking foundation. Okay. So tonight we're going to take a little bit of a look at what I remember as Schoolhouse Rock. Okay. Just a little bit of a look. All right. The three branches of fucking government. Okay. Because I believe fuckers have just lost their fucking minds. Okay. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We seem to have forgotten. Okay. The functions of government. Hey, good to see you. We've seemed to have lost our everlasting fucking minds. Okay. Just a little bit. Okay. All right. Just a little bit. Now, we're going to go rapid fire because tonight's show is just going to be providing a little bit of snapshot of the cacophony of bullshit. All right. And then part 2 and part 3 and so on and so forth, we're going to be just basically picking apart different elements of what we've been seeing. Okay. And it seems like every time I go away for a week to gather my thoughts, seems like some bullshit happens. Like, I don't know. We're releasing classified, not releasing, but we're yeah, sure. We're texting classified information on unsecured goddamn servers and shit. Hey, good to see you. We're releasing not releasing, but we're inviting journalists onto classified conversations on unclassified servers, unclassified networks. Like the government doesn't have modalities of communication in order to converse about where you're going to bomb next. No, we're not gonna talk about that. Nah, that's okay. It's cool. It's cool. We can just talk about classified information on any. Actually, no, I didn't cook today. Normally on Wednesdays, normally on Wednesdays I don't cook because I have this to do today. So no, didn't cook today. Nope, did not cook today. But we're just not. We're just gonna, the who were they? The president's cabinet is just talking about who they're gonna bomb on something equivalent as WhatsApp, essentially. Oh shit, that's right. We just accidentally invited a journalist. Damn it. It seems like every time I open up my computer, I just see a tab, and the tab just says some more bullshit from the Trump administration. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. And you know what? Y'all wanted this motherfucker in office. Y'all wanted him in office. And if it wasn't so painful, it would be jovial. Okay, so you have to laugh through the pain. You really would. No, actually, it's not a repeat of the last administration. I mean, of the last Trump administration. It isn't. It's actually worse. And I'll tell you why it's worse. Because believe it or not, he's a little bit smarter. Okay. Anytime you use something called the State Secrets Act or state secret privilege, something that hasn't been publicly used to rebuff the judiciary. Where the fuck he learned that at? He didn't know that before. Oh yeah. No, he's smartened up a little bit. Yeah, that's a little dangerous. Yeah. So yeah, stand by. No, this isn't going to be a repeat. Okay. And skipping ahead just a little bit, speaking of that point, you see, people who voted for him had a good point. And that is the last time he was in office, he was a peaceful president, right? He wasn't peaceful domestically, but on the world stage, he was peaceful. Okay. Point taken. But now we're starting to get to a point where he's not so peaceful. He wants to create tension. The Panama Canal, we're going to take it by force, he says. We're going to get it one way or another. Right? Greenland, we're going to get it one way or another. Somehow, somewhere, we're going to get it. It's going to happen, folks. You're going to get it. Right? We've even provoked Canada so bad that they want to de-providence and federalize Canada. De-providence to a point they want to federalize to one big, beautiful country. One big, beautiful, big-ass country for the most part. Here's the fucked up part about this. And I don't think people really understand about Canada. Canada, here we go. Here's a question. Who knows, class? I have 4 people here. So 4, I got 4, and I got 1, 2, 3 people over here. So I got 7 people. Oh, okay. I got 8 now. Tell me, class, show of hands and put it in the chat for me. Who knows who? And the one person who does know, don't answer. You know who you are. Who still controls Canada? I'll wait. Take a sip of my drink. Who still controls Canada? Because see, while we're sitting here talking about Canada becoming the 51st state, and you Trumpers talking about, oh yeah, he's pulling a Trump move. He's being, big man on town, big man, big orange man in town. Who still controls Canada, folks? Does anybody know? No, not the prime minister. Who still has juridical power? I'll give you another hint. Over Canada. Give one more person a chance. One more person just came into the chat. So that means one more person has a chance to answer. Who still controls Canada? What is this? The US? No. All right. England, the king, the crown. The crown still does. So we would be getting into war with the crown technically by fucking with Canada. Okay, give you another trivia. Who borders Canada? Yes, really. Yes. You see, when they go into parliament and they have their parliamentary sessions, there's a scepter that they have in their hall. They can't conduct business without that scepter being there. They have a marine unit called it used to be called the Queen's Marine Unit, or the Queen's Marines, but now it's called the King's Marines. I actually had a chance of meeting them when I was in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, who borders Canada? Since we're all so gung-ho about the Cheeto in chief, the orange Cheeto, and the bronzer in chief, just doing shit and saying shit like, Governor Trudeau, and, shit like, 51st state and shit. Because I promise you I'm getting somewhere here, because we have this mindset that, oh, well, he was a peaceful president before, and he was the first president who never had war, and this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden, okay, and now all of a sudden, all he wants to do now, because mind you, he didn't mention any of this shit while he was running, while he was crossing the state, talking about, I love my uneducated, love the uneducated. He wasn't talking about any of this shit. And now all of a sudden, we get to this part. He's here, and now all of a sudden, we start getting into the part where he wants to start invoking war and start fucking with people. I wonder why all of a sudden he wants war all over the place. He wants to start using military force. He wasn't talking about all this military force type shit before, when he was crossing, spreading his orange bronzer all over the goddamn, contiguous United States. No. Russia, folks. Canada borders Russia. Now, what did Russia promise would happen if a NATO country borders Russia? What would they do? Is anybody paying any attention? Putin said he'd do it. He said it aloud. That's one of the reasons why Ukraine wasn't allowed to be invited into NATO. He said that he would nuke the US. Now, do I think that he would actually go ahead and go forth and do so? Well, maybe. But the invocation of such a thing would actually start something I call the gang clause. Stand by. It's called the gang clause. It's called Article 5 of the NATO alliance, or the NATO we'll just call it alliance. Now, Article 5. I call it the gang clause. Okay? You fuck with me, you get all of us. Okay? Now, Article 5 says that basically, if you mess with anybody in NATO, you basically get all of us. Okay? But it essentially excites everybody of NATO. Okay? Now, why does this have to do with America? And why does it have to do with our union? Well, you see, that enshrines a president. Because if a president gets involved into world war, there's only been 2 instances that we've had a situation where we've had a 5-star general. 1 and 2 world wars. And when a 5-star general gets in place, all elections stop. Picking up what I'm putting down? Now you have a president who does not need to ever be released from presidency. Congress essentially becomes parliament. And the judiciary essentially just becomes oversight for the rest of the 11 districts of the judiciary. And there is your plot, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to believe me. Why else would you start a world war? That's one plot. Now, I said it on this show before that this man is not interested in leaving office. And some idiot said that to another comment, to someone commenting, oh, well, he's already served 2 terms. He would have already served 2 terms, so he can't run again. He doesn't have to run. He's already said that if you vote for me, you won't have to vote again. I don't know when the fuck y'all are actually going to start listening to him. But I'm done trying to explain to y'all to start listening to this guy. He might start talking about windmills causing cancer and shit. But when it comes to being a tyrant, he's actually pretty smart. Don't know when y'all gonna listen. Oh, you don't have to tell me he's already stated that his actions say it louder than his words. It's the other fuckers who don't want to believe what's being said. I'm the one that sat here and said that Project 2025 was definitely a thing, and everything he's doing is actually laying it out playbook by playbook. Gutting the Department of Education. Person after person after person, even a woman person. Won't name a name, but if she ever hears this, she knows exactly who I'm talking to. Said that we're just fear mongering. It would take Congress to actually get rid of the Department of Education. Well, she was partially right. It would take Congress, sure, but it would also take Congress doing absolutely nothing, is what it would take. Wait. It would take Congress. And I'm going to show you tonight what it would take Congress. And it's very sneaky how Congress does what it does. And they did it in their last appropriation. And it starts right here. So tonight's situation is going to be showing you, yes, the appropriation, the continuing resolution. And my remarkable went away. So let's go ahead and turn you back on. And I want to turn your attention to section 1113, Bravo. Now, this appropriation, all appropriation bills are very, very long. But I want to turn your attention to section right here. 111, 3, B, right here. If a sequestration, excuse me, is ordered by the president under section Section 254 of the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1885, the spending expenditure or operating plan required by this section shall reflect such sequestration. Very sneaky. right here. The departments and agencies to which this section applies are as follows. Now, this one section right here seems a little bit innocuous, but here's what it means. You see, normally that act right there, you'd have to go and look up that section 254. And you would need to go and look up that Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1985 to understand what that means. And essentially, the OMB and the CPB, what they do is they essentially control this function. One function is the Congressional Budget and Planning and the Office of Management and Budget. These two elements work together, not the president. Do you see? What they just did here is basically bypassed all of that and gave it directly to the president. Funding never used to be under the president unless the government shut down. This is why I say State of our Union, or it's down here now, State of our Union, consequences are here. We're in a constitutional crisis because for the next 6 months, complete control over funding that is encompassed underneath this CR is now in the president's control, to which it didn't used to be, which means everything that happened with USAID was indeed unconstitutional. This is why they had to put it in there. Oh, gotcha. Now you would see normal departments under the, oh, wait a second. Oops, sorry, hang on. I gotta make this bigger. Now you would see normal departments, right? Wait a second. What's this? The judiciary? Make that a little bigger. The judiciary under the president, bitch. Now, what do they do that at? Hold on. I'm going to get rid of my face for a second so y'all can just take a look at that shit without my face right there. The judiciary, y'all, underneath, the funding of the judiciary is under the president. Now, y'all read that with me. I'm not making it up. That ain't supposed to happen. Okay, and the rest of it seems about normal. Oh, and then, of course, the architect of the Capitol, which, again, that belongs to Congress. And the architect of the Capitol is actually pretty powerful, by the way. But that's another day. Interesting that they put the judiciary underneath the president. Yikes. Talk about just straight abdication of your congressional duties. So when you see Republicans going to their districts and you have Republican constituents saying, we hired you, to do your jobs, whatever. This is part of the reason why. Yeah, part of the reason why. For those who actually read. For those who don't, you think all is normal, all is fine. Of course. Now let's talk about how much money they actually cut. Really quick before we go down a few videos and back to my little Schoolhouse Rock presentation. Or not presentation, but a little review really quick. Small Business Administration, they cut 541,000. National Archives, they cut 38,414,000. And then an additional 17.5 million FEMA, rock this, collect this for a second. 587,514,000. Now, Department of State. This is a good one right here. Okay. Really good. I didn't even have time when I found this. I actually found it today. I have to calculate this really quick. Hang on. So 78 million. And let's see. Hang on. 78 plus 2 million plus 100,000 for embassies and 7 million, 7.5 million rather in total. Oh, that was for anything dealing with building anything for humanitarian aid in Mexico for Mexico and other territories. And then 171.5 million. So a grand total of $259,150,000 that they cut from Department of State. And they call it waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, what I want you to notice is that the reason why some of these things seem so innocuous is that when you're reading some of these things, they do things like this. So I want you to take a little gander really quick, and I want you to see what they do. Because sometimes, oops, let me go back. Like this. So section 11205, notwithstanding section 1101, the following provisions in title, what is that, 7 of division F of public law 11847. So what that means is the 118th Congress 47th bill, okay, that's what public law means. Public law 11847 shall not apply to funds appropriated by this act. Now, here's what they do. Section 7004 echo. You have to go to that bill, that section over here to find out what they cut. Do you understand? You with me? Then you have to go here and there and here and there. Then over here, notwithstanding 11101, the following provisions of Title 7 of Division F here shall be applied to funds appropriated by this act by substituting the following funds. So 450 million, 300,000 for 725 million, 300,000. So they're basically saying they're replacing this number here with this number, on and so forth. Do you see the trickery? You have to go to each section. So when I tell you that this is how much they've done, I literally have gone through each of these sections and tried to calculate each of these parts based off of what they did. Yeah, it's a mess. They even cut funding for Israel. They called it loan guarantees for Israel. They docked the date. So they cut it back. So Israel is no longer guaranteed to have loan guarantees. Say Trump is working for control of the act, but is not under his control yet. What do you mean by that? Does it come through receipts, context, and facts? Because somehow they believe that they're exempt, but Coney is. Evening. We've already spent more than that more than we've taken in. Oops, so much for the 1865 Budget Act. Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, and then some of these, when you see certain things like, for instance, here where it says this amount for Department of Veteran Affairs to remain available until expended, they didn't provide any more funds to Veteran Affairs. They just said that this amount right here is available until it's expended, which means that's the same amount that they provided last. Okay, you get the point. All right. The other thing that you may observe would be things like, for instance, they just wiped out. Okay, here we go. So times you may see 0. Actually, here, let me do this. Instead of just doing like that, we'll just put 0 like this. Oh, it won't let me do that? Darn it. All right, well, we'll find it another time because I have other things I want to get to. Oh, but Department of Defense, oh yeah, they definitely got more money. They definitely got more money. They always get more money. However, they did receive some cuts, though, to be fair and to be objective. They did receive some cuts, okay? Even some cuts in the ship, which oddly enough, they received cuts in the shipbuilding department. Now, oddly enough, China is building their fleet. And we're cutting money in shipbuilding? Okay, whatever, whatevs. Seems counterproductive to me if you're thinking that that China is this threat that they seem to be. Good evening. Good to see you. Salute to you. I don't know. Seems interesting. But yes, so when you are reading these, my fellow Black people and those of a mixed complexion, okay? When you're reading this, make sure that you're going to the public law that it mentions, and then going to the section that it mentions, and then because like this right here, it'll say things like notwithstanding this section, it'll just tell you what it should be, which means you gotta find out what it was in order to see what it's going to be, to find out if it was an increase or a decrease. Because what they'll do is they'll then say, oh, here's a good section right here. I found one. So chemical agents and ammunition destruction defense, here's the amount that they said, 775,507,000, right? For that, provided, that means there's a stipulation. They did this for Social Security. They did this for Medicaid. They did this for other sections, provided that, right? No, take it back. Yes, they did. Okay. All right. I was double checking. Yes. Provided that. Okay. And then they did extensions to it, largely untouched. They did one touch to Social Security, and they touched it by 10 million. They only took 10 million out of Social Security. For Medicare and Medicaid, they left it the same as far as the funding for it. But what they did is they added stipulations to it relative to the United States Code. They added red tape to it. And the only thing they touched with it was the DSH portions of it, which I think I'll get into that a little bit later on, maybe in part 2. But I want to get into some other juicier things as well. But I wanted to show you guys this component of the continuing resolution. But I wanted to show you that the president, for this continuing resolution, has the ability to control funding where he should not, because that is Congress's job. So State of our Union concept or context number 1, where Congress is failing. Congress should have control over the purse, and they should have oversight over the purse, not the president. The president's job is to execute. That is it. And only under special authorities granted by Congress, which would be under the United States Code, would he or she then have the ability to then exercise or leverage certain powers. This is even why in executive orders you would see powers vested in me by United States Code, title so and so, subsection blah blah blah, boring letters and numbers and signs and symbols. Because an executive can only execute based off of the laws established by Congress. Every president up until this point has shown some type of gumption to provide a statute providing their authority. Not this president. No. Not this one. We're going to skim through this one. And I want you to tell me, do you look at this one? Tell me, do you see a new United States Code reference? Oh, let me zoom in. Just for those who have glasses. Do y'all see a United States Code reference that says, per United States Code, I'm shutting down the Department of Education, and I have the ability to do so? Come on, everybody. Come on. Anybody see a code? Anybody see a code? Anybody see? No, you don't see it because he doesn't fucking have the authority to do so. Therefore, it is unconstitutional to do so. He doesn't even have the constitutional authority to actually move money around from one thing to another because it's called the color of fucking money. Because spending money is a law. You know what I find funny? I find hilarious that you orange fart sucking fuckers only love this shit when it's your president in town. You only love this shit when it's someone y'all like in town. Because I remember a time when it was a certain black man in office using FISA warrants against someone y'all liked. And it was legal. And a judge signed off on it. A Republican judge signed off on it. And y'all had y'all panties and lingerie all in a bunch because some shit came out about y'all's president. At the time, would-be prospective president. And it was partisan this and partisan that and partisan this and partisan that. Remember? No, you don't remember. And he said, by the powers vested in me, and not really me, but my special counsel, and a Republican judge says, FISA warrant signed. This looks good to me. Right? I'll wait. Y'all are shameless, is what it is. Because when your guy comes in and does shit like this with no United States Code authority to do a damn thing. But here is the real fuckery. Okay? Here's the real fuckery of it all. There are states in this union here who I'm going to call and title and say socialist states. Oh, yes, I'm going to receive some heat off this one. Yeah, I'm going to call you red states like Alabama, Kentucky, Indiana. Indiana might not like, fuck it. Missouri, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Oh, especially Louisianans. Yeah. Y'all are the kind of states that take more money than you push back to the government. Y'all are the handout states. You see, most blue states give more to the federal government than they take. Most. You have a few blue states that actually do exactly what I'm criticizing red states for doing. However, do y'all not realize how fucked y'all about to be with this shit? Yeah. You see, here's the thing. What I didn't tell y'all about FEMA, for instance, you see, FEMA was cut $587,514,000, and that's just the start. You see, that was just the first cut for FEMA, by the way. Department of Education's cut as well. You see, here's what people are not recognizing that Trump. And that's one thing I will give Trump 100% credit for. When he doesn't give a fuck, he does not give a fuck, because he is a classist. You see, he says, oh, y'all want sovereignty? Say the word, and I'll give you sovereignty. Yeah, I'll give you sovereignty. Yeah, go right ahead and go ahead and grab yourself something cool to drink. I'll give you sovereignty. Yeah, and I'll save the government money while we're at it. Yeah. And he's putting everything on the states, because the states get billions of dollars every year like a handout. And his concept is, and he even put it in Project 2025. He said, essentially, sorry, lost in translation. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out here. Sorry, bro. Yep, because you're the one that made me say it, that he didn't write Project 2025. And you're right, lost in translation. Shout out to you. You're right. He didn't write it. And you're right. There's no possible way that motherfucker wrote it, read it, looked at it. I'm willing to believe he didn't know what the fuck it was. Because Trump is no different than any other president. He's a puppet for the people who paid for him to be there. Like the 10 Scrooges that he had to the side of him at the inauguration. Yep. Absolutely. So, your states are going to be fucked. Bigly. Because very few states are able to fund their own departments of education. In fact, most states have a hard time paying at least 50% of their teacher's salary. And places like Alabama, Louisiana, and let's see, Kentucky, and so on and so forth, who thinks it's okay to continue to pay the minimum wage and thinks, I wouldn't live in a fucking state who thinks it's okay to pay me just the minimum wage. That's like saying that's like saying if I could pay you less, I would. Oh my God, y'all are fucked. Hey, it's okay. It's totally okay, because we're all going to be feeling the pain. It's just that some states are going to be feeling it more. Like this state right here.
They have identified a way to cut their budget shortfall pretty much in half. Now,
hold on. Cue the music.
That's happening in Nebraska. There's a lot of panic that the state is going to go bankrupt. And there's some saying it will happen in just the matter of a couple of months because they have a $400 million budget shortfall. There's a lot of different reasons for it. Let me tell you what they are. But a lot of it very much is self-inflicted wounds. And now they're kind of dancing around going, oh my God, what did we do? Nebraska is experiencing right now at a state level what we're all about to face at a federal level. So I think it's important to pay attention there because this is what happens when you give giveaways and subsidies and tax breaks to the wealthy, and you do all of these things that in the moment feel right because they get you votes and they get you popularity and they get you all this shit. And then when you have to pay the bills, you realized you fucked yourself. And that's exactly what Nebraska has done. I think the number one reason that Nebraskans should be concerned is that they've lost their immigrant labor. Nebraska was one of those states that had there's a lot of farming, a lot of agriculture type businesses, and they use a lot of immigrant labor. Whether they're documented or not does not matter. There were people who were not native Nebraskans who had moved there and were working there. Nebraskans, like a bunch of other states, voted for Trump, which told their immigrant population, we're not welcome here. Instead of waiting for the jackboot stormtroopers from ICE to come knock on their doors, the immigrants pieced out. We're going to go someplace where people will use our labor and will like us and will treat us with a little bit of dignity. So they probably hustled their asses to Colorado or California or someplace else where they could get work and they could be safer. So rumor has it that this was 60% of their labor force. And when you lose that much of your labor force, you've got no one to pick your wheat, you got no one to slaughter your cows, you're in big fucking trouble. So that's the start of it. They're not making as much revenue. They're not supplying as much food into the food chain, which, by the way, screws all of us. Our food supply is going to be fucked if this happens. So let's just say that. But they also did a lot of other things, right? They put in corporate tax breaks and they did all this other stuff. Now suddenly they don't have a pot to piss in. Their budget committee has gone back to work and they're trying to find places where they can find this money. And they've identified 165 million more in revenue that they can bring in. 65 million of it is from, well, let's just go ahead and raise the taxes on the corporations. Amazing how quickly the money pours in if you make everybody pay their fair share. But
exquisite.
Anyway, they've also done some other things, cut some extra funding. They cut a major portion of funding to the University of Nebraska Medical Center, which is quite frightening for the people who work there and a lot of the research they're doing. Probably have to make a total separate video about that because university hospitals all across the nation are getting crushed right now because they're losing a lot of their funding. But one thing they've also decided to do was to take the cash out of their slush fund. Every state kind of has this emergency fund. And I get that they think, okay, this is an emergency. We got to use the slush fund. So they're putting their slush fund toward their budget deficit. I understand that. But what's happening is, in case you don't know, Nebraska is one of those, let's use the word socialist states, meaning they're one of those red states that gets more from the federal government than they put in. Okay, they get a ton of subsidies for their farmers. They get a ton of stuff. And sadly, there's a lot of people in Nebraska who are poor or even poverty level citizens. And they need government funding. They need things like Medicaid and SNAP benefits and those types of things. Well, when you've got the Doge dickheads going, nope, nope, cut it all off. We don't give a fuck who starves. We don't care about poor people. We don't care about children. Cut it all off. What's happening is the federal government will start giving less to Nebraska. And Nebraska is going to be expected to pull herself up by her bootstraps. Not if they've raided their slush fund. If they don't have any money left in their slush fund, they can't help their hungry and poor citizens.
How's that sovereignty working for you? Huh? Press play.
So again, it's all self-inflicted wounds because this is how they voted and they supported an administration that was going to slash. They supported an administration that said, no more brown people. They did this to themselves. And it's very hard to feel sorry for them, right? There's a lot of people on here that are like, bye-bye. But it's a major hit to our food supply. I took some notes. Let me just tell you. They are the third largest producer of corn. They're a big producer of soybeans. They are top 15 producer of wheat. And I don't know if you knew this, but Nebraska, number one in popcorn.
Popcorn.
They're the number one producer of popcorn. We stand a risk to lose our popcorn, people. But that's not even what I want to talk about. They are one of the top producers of beef. If you've not, there are some exceptional cattle ranchers in Nebraska. And they provide a huge portion of America's high quality beef, but also pork, poultry, and wait for it, eggs. You think they're expensive now? You shut down the state of Nebraska. That's a big.
I ran on groceries.
Now, what would be the cherry on the top of the fuck around and find out Sunday is that 43 days before the last election, Nebraska's state house made a Hail Mary to try to change their electoral college process. If you're not familiar, Nebraska has 5 electoral votes, but it's not a winner take all. 3 of the electoral college votes go to, however, those 3 congressional districts. So if 2 of those districts go blue, that's two electoral college to the Democrats and 1 to the Republicans. And then the other 2 are given to the person who the party that wins the overall state. So if the Republicans win the total state, they would get that. So last year, the way it stood to be was that Donald Trump would probably get 4 electoral votes. Kamala Harris would get 1. 4 out of 5 isn't quite enough when you're a Trump-loving, conservative, middle America white man who happens to be in the Nebraska State House. They didn't even want the black lady to get even 1 vote. Oh, no, 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 no. They tried to change 43 days before the election. They tried to change their electoral college process to a winner-take-all. And luckily, it didn't.
And by the way, Trump is trying to now change the election laws. Let's see. Sweeping executive action over. Oh, I found the article. I love it when my 11 o'clock at night saving rants come to fruition. Uh-oh. It's going to freeze on me, I think. Let's see. Here we go. Signs sweeping executive action overhauling U.S. elections, including citizenship requirement. But it just doesn't stop there. Goes a little bit deeper than that. But maybe I'll save that for another time. Okay. Okay. Let's continue.
In the state house that said, this is dumb, we're not doing it. So it was dead in the water. But my point being is that this state is led and probably is populated by people who are die-hard, rabid Trump supporters. People who will throw a Hail Mary at the last fucking minute because they wanted him to have an even bigger win. And now they're crying on TikTok because they might go bankrupt. If you're a blue dot in Nebraska, hang in there, maybe pack your bags, maybe go to Colorado. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, and I'm so sad it's gonna fuck our food supply for a very long time. But you fuck around and you find out.
Hey, all you white federal workers that voted for Trump that are being fired, y'all okay? I know, Bookies. You didn't think he meant you. You thought he just meant the black and brown people, didn't you? I heard y'all was downtown rallying. Cold out there, ain't it? As a career coach, my advice would be to go ahead and get your resumes redone. You could always do like that one guy did and write a letter to Daddy Trump. Maybe he'll save your job. Must be so tough finding out that you're the DEI.
Oh, you see. Fuck around and find the fuck out. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Look, shout out to Trump because he's showing motherfuckers that he don't give a fuck. And I have to say, he didn't give a fuck the first time. Didn't y'all know? Oh, y'all didn't pay attention because too many people were telling y'all this is what he really meant. This is what he really meant. This is what he really meant. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Deep down inside, the people who voted for him, y'all know something ain't right. Y'all know it. People with green cards. Let's see if I can find it. Here. Man, I'm finding them left and right because because I have them saved. Like this trash right here. Trump border czar, ICE will absolutely deport legal immigrants. I thought legal immigration was the illegal immigration was the problem, folks. Thought you didn't mind immigration, and so as long as it was legal. Absolutely, we can. Holman told Fox Business News network steward Barney. Now, sure, if someone violates the terms of their visa, but here's the thing: I want to hold on this. Is that a situation where, because last I checked, someone with a visa has constitutional protection, which means they should be incarcerated. They should receive due process. They have the rights of an American citizen with a green card. Yeah. Granted, not every type of visa that goes through consular affairs receive such right. Granted, sure. But if they have legal documentation before they are deported, they are to receive due process. Because after all, it is legal immigration that you have problems. It's illegal immigration that you have problems with, right, Republicans? Or is it a situation of them not being like us is the problem? Which one? Waiting. Silence is deafening. Silence is deafening. Well, with that in mind, what else do we have here as far as what else is radical with this guy? Well, let's talk about the issues of what is necessarily an issue with our, I don't know, union. And that is the bickering between the three branches. Let's talk about a motherfucking executive order, shall we? You see, an executive order is not an edict. Again, QN, stand by. Oh, yeah, this one right here. This one right here. Right here. Yeah. QN this. Again, I showed you that there is no United States code that gives him the authority to do this. And just because you can write an executive order, this right here is nothing more than a glorified fucking memo. That's all this is. Now, he can fire people at the Department of Education, but oh wait. There are appropriations in place for salaries for the Department of Education, isn't there not? Which means, it's unconstitutional to get rid of people who has appropriations for salaries at a department without due process. Same thing with USAID. Same thing with anyone who is a federal employee that you just unduly get rid of because they are already appropriated salaries that you are supposed to pay them. Because the year prior, you've essentially already given in a budget, you've justified their budget. So if you have an unjust reason for getting rid of them, then essentially you've gotten rid of a spot where appropriated funds are already supposed to be apportioned to them. Oh, I'm sorry, allocated and obligated to them. You want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse? The money that is not then used for that purpose, guess where that money goes? Any money that is obligated, any money that is allotted, appropriated, apportioned, allotted, and not obligated, and therefore liquidated whenever it is deposited into someone's bank account, it then becomes unobligated, and then it cycles back into Congress. And you think, well, that's a good thing, right? But remember, they raised a debt ceiling in order to be able to afford that money to get it over there to the department, which means we increased an entire country's debt to be able to afford that money. So you might as well use it. Major waste, fraud, and abuse. Oops. And then you didn't spend the money that Congress approved and then another president signed into law. That's also against the law, which is unlawful and unconstitutional. Outstanding. It's exquisite. Now let's talk about an executive order. You see, an executive order does not create law. An executive order is only charged by a law. And it only has authority to the extent that it doesn't skirt outside of a law. It can provide context that a law doesn't provide, provided that it doesn't break or extend past the laws. That's it. So this is why Trump is losing at just about every goddamn executive order he's signing with his wonderful magic little marker, because he's doing shit that's unconstitutional. Like DEI, for instance. Let's go there, shall we? Yes, I think we shall. Because you see, here's the thing I love to show people when it comes to this type of shit. Okay. Now, don't you love it when people say, do as I do, do as I say, but not as I do? Okay, now I'm going to scroll down here to this part. Now, everyone gets real excited when they see ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. Right? Okay. Now, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Ordered, not by law. You see, he has to say ordered. Now, here we go. He writes his issues that he seems to be awfully vexated by. Okay? Now, illegal DEI and DEIA policies. But now, check this out really quick. DEI and DEIA policies are all sanctioned by this list of policies right here, EEO laws, such as EPA, Title VII, PDA, ADEA, Section 501, 505 of 1973. And then there was this. Well, exactly. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Titles 1 and 5, ADA, 102, 103 of the Civil Rights Act, GERA, No Fear Act, Elijah Cummings, Employee Anti-Discrimination Act, GINA, or Title 2 of 2008, Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, excuse me, and Pregnant Workers Fairness Act of 2022. Just to name a few. So essentially, all of these diversity, equity, inclusion programs and whatnot, and all HR departments, to include OPM, have to abide by these laws. See it? Laws. Law. Not order. Not edict. Laws. Don't you love that? Now we get to his magic marker. Order. See the difference? Now, he says all of this, and it says, here's his policy. It is the policy of the United States to protect the civil rights of all Americans and to promote individual initiative, excellence, and hard work. Before I continue, I want you guys to pay attention to this, and I want you guys to pay attention to anything that I say in this and understand that there's double speak. Okay, here we go. I therefore order all executive departments and agencies to terminate all discriminatory and illegal preferences, mandates, policies, programs, activities, guidance, regulations, enforcement actions, consent orders, and requirements. Now, remember, I told you that the DEIA and DEI programs have to follow these laws, right? So for him to say that it is illegal, didn't I say that was double speak? So then now I have to get you guys to understand something, that who would be complaining about diversity? Is it us? Or is it them? Which one? I hear Black people all the time talk about and say that DEI only benefits or predominantly benefits white women. I hear that a lot. Cool. If that's what you think. Cool. And let's say that's factually true. Cool. Let's rock with that. But you as a Black man, Black woman, would benefit from it more than the white man who's complaining about it. Would you not? Because it would seem to me that it's the white man who's complaining about it, who's, well, objectively speaking, it's got to be the white man writing this, right? Who's thinking it's illegal to consider diversity. Because if diversity is the problem here, then somebody must obviously want it to look awfully monochromatic in the government. If I'm just letting the opposite speak, right? So that means you, the Black man and the Black woman who argues for the reversal of the DEI programs, I call it the Clarence Thomas effect. You see, Clarence Thomas right now, he's not arguing about DEI right now because he feels like he's been compensated for it for the fact that he feels like he's been vindicated because there's more like him now on the Supreme Court now. Wouldn't you say? But when he first got there, he felt very ostracized. I wonder why. Says the man who had his choice of spouses. We won't go there. Okay. Now, I further order all agencies to enforce our longstanding civil rights laws and to combat illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and procedures. You mean these longstanding laws? that apply to everybody. Remember, I told you there's doublespeak. Now, he revokes these. Now, pay attention to what he revokes, because remember, I told you there's doublespeak. So, federal actions to address environmental justice of minority populations and low-income populations. Remember, I told you Trump is less of a racist and more of a classist person. Establishing a coordinated government-wide initiative to promote diversity and inclusion in the federal workforce. Here we go. Further amendments to Executive Order 11478, equal opportunity in federal in government, and Executive Order 11246, equal opportunity employment. So this right here, these two together were Obama era executive orders that essentially provided brevity, or breadth rather, for there to be less discrimination or no discrimination for gender ideation, how do I word it? It'll be so sexual orientation and gender identity within the workforce, specifically the federal government. Now, here we go. Equal opportunity employment is hereby revoked. So, this is the main guy right here, 11246. The Lyndon B. Johnson one. But bear in mind what he decides to keep or promote, which is that religious one. Where'd it go? I know it's here. Here it is. This one. This is the one he wanted to keep. Right? Equal protection of the laws for faith-based and community organizations. This right here is a playbook right out of Project 2025. Because Project 2025 promotes religious-based education organizations and puts those on a pedestal and says, fuck it to those public school ones. The public school ones are the ones where the states can handle. But the religious schools, however, the federal government can fund those. You should read Project 2025. It's interesting read. But now, I'm showing you guys all of this because it's very interesting, right? But here's the do as I say and not as I do part. Because he never shows the scope first. He always puts the scope last. And here's why. This order does not apply to lawful federal. Oh my God. You got to read down to the bottom, folks. You got to read. You got to read. Or private sector employment and contracting preferences for veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces or persons protected by the Randolph-Shepard Act 20 USC 107 et sequata. Reading is fun to fucking mental. Do as I say, folks, not as I do. Oh, and in case y'all are wondering why the private sector, like Target and whatever, just felt so comfortable, so bellicose doing this dumb shit, here's why. If we just scroll up just a little bit, right here, section 4. Encouraging, he says, I implore the private sector to end illegal DEI. You mean these guys? The ones I showed you guys earlier? The ones that if you decide to do so at your own peril, because you can still get sued if you do so. So by all means, target. I hope you have enough overhead. Well then, yes. Well then, always read the fine print. Indeed. And then by all means, have a good lawyer standing by and give it some time. You got a good check coming your way. Now, while we're on the topic of DEI, those of you who are still here, when I say that these people are having different conversations than these people, here's what I mean.
All based in propaganda.
Heck, damn it.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up in this country as a minority, as the children of immigrants. I was their first child born in America. And while I didn't have much possession or didn't much control, I really enjoyed myself. And I think that if you ask a lot of Americans, they would say that I had a lot to offer this country. You know, according to you, I guess I would be perpetuating the dispossession of white America.
That is true. That is true.
Would you say that you wouldn't want me in this country?
At some point, when my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian
achieved?
people.
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
But you believe in evolution, right?
Evolution, I think, explains a great deal.
So, according to evolutionary theory, we're all out of Africa. So, at some point, your ancestors were sub-Saharan Africans.
So what? At some point, our ancestors were unicellular animals.
So I'm saying at any point in time, we could say you were an African. So you're choosing to pick this point in time and say you're a descendant of white Europeans.
Why do you think I'm choosing this point of time?
Because it's in favor of your politics at this point.
It's because I'm alive now.
Come on. My issue with you is that I don't think you have enough compassion and vision, not because I don't like what things are now. It's that I have hope and belief in what they could be.
Sorry. Thank you for letting me know. That is the argument that they are having behind closed doors. Not about white women. That's the argument. It's fear of being inferior. But the biggest argument, the biggest issue is having something done to them that they did to us. There's a lot of things that I'm very Martin Luther King about, but about this issue here, I am definitely Malcolm X about. Yes, when I showed up on the East Coast the first time and I had my first interview, sounding the way I sound, with my first name being the first name that it is, had my phone interview, and I qualified for the phone interview, passed the phone interview, showed up for the physical interview, and they said, "You're so-and-so?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And the room was abuzz. And they walked me and they told me that I no longer qualified for that interview, for that job. Now, you guys don't need to know that I didn't show up at an interview with what was colloquially understood to be what is garb for urban Black people's clothing. No, I showed up wearing a black matte suit, tailored, black tie, business attire. I had a leather-bound portfolio with 3 extra copies of my resume. Haircut. I didn't have this hair actually. I had a high and tight fade. Didn't have the nails actually. I was 20 years old. Instantly disqualified because they saw the color of my skin. In a room full of white people. I remember being in 7th grade. I fit the description of a black man. Sorry, a black middle schooler, apparently, who had stolen a black Mitsubishi Spider Eclipse. I had walked out of the school. My guardian's car was the same color, same car, same make, model, everything. Walked out, went to her car, and instantly two cars, 2 cruisers pulled up, point their guns at me at a 7th grader, handcuffed me. Would not let me speak. Damn near put me in a damn cruiser before my guardian came out. I was gone too long. A white woman saved me. I fit the description. There have been plenty of times I can recount where diversity has been an issue and it has been a strength. Just last year, at the job that I currently work, where a white woman told me that you speak so well, you're so eloquent, you speak so eloquently. Well, bitch, please continue to tell me how surprised you are that I speak. And the question I ask is, would you be so bold to say that to a man who was white? Or is it because of my melanin that you seem to be so perplexed? You see, DEI, when we're having these type of conversations, as Black people, we have the conversation differently because we want to ensure that when we step into the room, our pedigree is not questioned. In the field that I work in, I'm always questioned because I shouldn't be there. I'm too young and I'm too dark to be there. I've always been questioned, no matter where I go. And at some point, you got to stop thinking of yourself like Clarence Thomas and start walking in there like Malcolm X. Because otherwise, you start parroting the same damn DEI exclusionary goddamn talking points like a fucking parrot, not recognizing that you're actually being the parrot for their talking point without knowing it. Because why they talk about DEI, I guarantee you, my Black people, is not the same reason why you talk about it. I promise you it's not. It's not. Why you worried about white women benefiting from it? The civil rights movement benefits everybody. Who cares if it benefits somebody else more? We wrote it. I mean, we fought for it predominantly for us, but we wrote it for everybody. It wasn't just for us. Do you think it would have been, we would have been able to actually get it across the threshold if it was just for us? No. We had to use some white people to get it over the fucking threshold. And we're going to use some more white people. It's okay. But we can't sit here and be parrots for the issues that they want or need Black mouthpieces to speak for. And I can't believe I have to be the one to say it. The same people who at any point in time will point out Tulsa. I cannot believe that. Damn. Whew. They are worried about being replaced. And what's funny is minorities don't even want to replace them. We just want our fair share. So what really is the issue here? Well, if you noticed, the executive order placed a lot of attention on contracting. Well, contracts have set-asides and a very little known type of contract set-aside called 8A contracts. They deal with minorities. They deal with disadvantaged. They deal with disabled, veterans. In any of these besides minorities, did I mention specifically white, black? I mean, minorities could mean Indian preservation. It could mean Asians. It could mean, you know, Pacific Islanders. It could mean anybody. Let's do a little bit of data, shall we? Because I'm gonna show you the absurdity and the greediness of some of these people. Now, I want to say it's in my show prep one. Hang on really quick. All right. So, of at least the 2022 data, the Black population represents 12.4% of America's population. Business owners of Black ownership is only 2.4% of all businesses. 2.4%. Now, of that 2.4% of business owners, how many of them do you actually think actually go for federal contracts? Less than 0.5% of it. And of that 0.5%, how many of them are actually prime contractors? And if you want to know more about prime and subcontracts, let me know. But I feel like that's too far in the weeds from what I'm getting ready to prove here for a second. Now, of the white population, it's still 59% white. And they represent 86% business ownership. What the fuck are you worried about? What you're worried about is you're just upset that you can't have access to all of something. How dare they have a little section over there? Ma. Right? Isn't that something? Now, I'm going to show you guys something really quick. Because I do certain things just for fun. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. This is usaspending.gov. Okay. Nothing fancy. Well, it is fancy, but this is something that any one of you guys can go to. Hey, my first freaking super chat. Hey, thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing. Charlie Mike, Devil Dog. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Simplify. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, it isn't mine, but it's the first for this particular show. So thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So check it out. Now, all awards for the most part. Okay. Now, I want you to look at these numbers really quick. Do y'all see these numbers? That's $107 billion. Thanks, my guy. I appreciate it. Exactly. Supremacists. Yes. Oh, here's a good one. Colonizers' biggest fear, being subjected to the same system that they benefit from. Facts. Speak on it. Yes, sir. I'm doing my best to do so here. Okay. Now look, check it out. Now I'm gonna switch over to contracts really quick. Look, Lockheed, United Health Group, Optum, Rockwell, Boeing, Lockheed, Oh, when you start seeing repeated, these are repeated contracts. When you see P, that means parent recipient, and child recipient. That means prime and sub contract. These are all different terms for the different. You just got to know what they mean. Okay. Now I'm gonna go through this really quick. Booz, Boeing, Fluorcorp, Triad Nation, Sikorsky. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question really quick, and just Deloitte, Novetta, Accenture. Now I'm just gonna ask y'all a question really quick, and just rock with me for a second. Does any of those sound like black corporations to you? Just nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Y'all don't have to answer. I'm just yeah. Oh, there it is right there. There's a no. Up, see, look, no, exactly. I mean, just when I did a filter of these on my own time, and I just did 8A set-asides, it paled into comparison. And the point of 8A set-asides is just to do is just to promote an ability. Ladies and gentlemen, here is where. Hey, thanks for the $5 super chat again. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here are where your tax dollars are at work, folks. Exactly. You realize that the Department of Defense. I wish I had I'm gonna have to do my next segment. I'm gonna have to do a breakdown of the budget. The Department of Defense by itself makes up damn near 25 to maybe 30% of the damn budget. It is the one department that if you were to add in the Department of State, Homeland Security, DHS, if you were to add up a bunch of other damn departments, like literally a whole bunch of them together in that pie chart, they literally don't even they cough at the damn Department of Defense. Yo, another freaking super chat. Yo, these are the political breakdowns we need. Thanks. Hey, yo, salute to y'all, man. I'm humbled, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to play some for y'all. Okay, look, all this money here. Let's see. I don't know what we gonna play. We're gonna play something. We're gonna have to play something here. I don't know what. I'll play something. I'll figure out something here. Shit. Here we go. I do like this guy. Here we go. We're gonna play this.
Whatever you want, whoa, whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Oh, whatever you need, there's nothing I won't do. Oh, whatever you want, my heart belongs to you. Whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Whatever you need, there's nothing I won't do. Whatever you want. My heart belongs to you.
Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. And look, I just want y'all to see really quick. I'm going to zoom in really quick. This goes on. This shenanigans goes on for 4,000 pages of contracts. Now, in all fairness, I'm gonna tell you why the government contracts out a lot of work. It's because the government has already shrunk down a lot of its work. So what it did is it basically said, instead of paying a bunch of people, salaries, pensions, yada yada, so on and so forth, it basically said, okay, these people are old and decrepit and they're getting ready to go, so we can go ahead and retire them out. But instead of filling them in, we're just going to contract that work out. And that's one flat rate that we're going to be able to say is going to cost the government this much. And it's actually pretty ingenious, okay? But what it also does is, remember that Small Business Administration I told you guys about? Or what the SBA does is that it then says, small businesses, by the way, championed by the Democrats. See, small businesses, however, which a lot of Republicans and a lot of conservatives get into small business. Small Business Administration comes in and says, hey, small businesses, we are willing to all of our contract work. We're willing to come in and say, you're a small business. We're willing to set up a program to help you get into federal contracting. You don't have resources? Cool. There's another small business who has what you don't have. Pair up, and you could be the prime and you can be the sub, and y'all can come together and y'all can work together to help us, give us what we need, the government. And then tell you what, we have the office that basically would assign you an agent on top of a contracting officer representative, on top of a warrant officer. And all three of us together will help you manage the contract. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? And we'll pay you. And then as you develop and get bigger, okay? As you get bigger, then you no longer qualify for these type contracts, and now you go and you can bid with the big boys. And now we have new small businesses that come in and come out. Remember, I told you about these guys like Lockheed, for instance. Okay, Lockheed comes in and says, "That ain't enough for us." So Lockheed creates a subsidiary company called Leidos. Leidos comes in, and remember, Lockheed creates Leidos. Leidos is a small business. Small business comes in and bids like a small business. Now Lockheed is funding Leidos. Leidos gets this 8A contract, and then it primes on a contract, and then it subs with Lockheed, and then it fuels Leidos. But didn't I just show you up here that Lockheed just got one of the largest goddamn contracts? And that's how, and so Lockheed just creates subsidiary companies to capitalize on the market. And there's nothing in the law that says it can't do that. So again, what the fuck is Trump talking about? I just explained to you how white people can get away with tripping over the system. So what is really the issue? Come on, Trump supporters, please tell me what really is the issue. all of the plane accidents that's been happening happening in the country since Trump took office. Mind you, there's been no plane accidents in Biden's administration, but seems to have been happening in rapid succession since the Cheeto in chief got in. Is heavily saturated with white people. And I don't mean to be racist or anything of that nature. That's not me. That's not who I am. But since we're forced to look at this situation by race, since you got the president of the United States coming in and saying DEI is the reason for everything, and let's not forget about those dwarves, because he stood his plump orange ass at the goddamn brief room and said something about dwarfism being an issue, right? So explain to me, how does the color of someone's skin have anything to do with how the planes went down, crashing all of the goddamn planes, power outages going out in goddamn airports? We ain't never heard any of that shit in the past. What? Hell, we didn't even hear any of that shit in his first presidency. But what seems to be the common thread here is the fact that he comes in and fires a bunch of motherfuckers. Oh, wait, that's right. He fired a bunch of goddamn veterans, too. Ladies and shout out to you. I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what's happening with your tax dollars, just ask a veteran. Army, 1995 to hey. Listen, us vets, we're gonna get down to the bottom of it. Get to go. Okay, listen, all right. We're gonna get down. We're gonna get down. I want to know. Because I will go through bill by bill. I will go back. Listen, we're gonna figure this shit out. Because we are in the thick of it. Into the thick of it, we are here. I want to know. Like I said, deep down inside, y'all fuckers know that some shit ain't right. And then again, back to the fuckery. By the way, we have Trump saying that because judges are rebuffing his bullshit, the judges now should be impeached. So back to the State of our Union being a problem. So here we have the executive doing what he's doing, writing executive orders, putting bullshit in it, acting as if he is a king when he's not, edicting things as if he has ultimate authority when he doesn't. And because he has a problem reading and understanding what his actual authority is, which is only acting as an executive, we're not even going to talk about Elonia Muskrat. No, that's later on down the road. I could do a whole show about him. Then we have the judges coming in and saying, nope, nope, nope. And mind you, the judges are not doing that unilaterally. Somebody is complaining, putting in a case, bringing it to court, and ruling, by the way. So I hear idiots on YouTube saying a judge can't come in and just tell the federal, tell the executive, our dear orange leader, that he can't do this. Are you fucking kidding me? Let me show you that they most absolutely can. Cue in the evidence. Where is my shit? Because now I feel the need to be able to tell you and show you these things that people seem to freaking forget or don't really pay any attention to. So I shall show thee. As soon as I find it, because I thought I had it pulled up. Oh boy. At least I thought I did. Wait, is it over here? No, it's not. Where did I have it? Is it over here? No, it's not. Where did it go? Is it right here? That's okay. I'll find it. I thought I had all of my tabs pulled up where I had the. Hang on, stand by. Because I believed I had it pulled up on one of these sides. I have like desktops pulled up. And it looks like a freaking. Okay. Then I'm going to have to pull it up over here then. I can't believe I actually got rid of it. No way. Okay. I'm going to have to search for it and find it. I hate when I do that because I had a Windows pulled up and. Oh, no, I do have it right here. Yes, I do have it. Okay, it was pulled up over here on this side. All right, so here we go. So I knew I had it pulled up somewhere. Ta-da! All right, here's one. Understanding the federal courts. Dag nabbit. I tell you what, I got nervous. Page 11. Now, what do we have here? The district courts. There are 11 fucking districts. And appellate courts. Now, the judiciary falls under the Supreme Court. Now, some of y'all may know where I'm getting ready to go with this, but in case you don't, here we go. Cue in the next tab. Ta-da! Yes. Each district court falls under the purview of the Supreme Court justice. Yeah. No shit, right? So when someone says, "Oh, well, that's a Democrat judge that was appointed by a Democrat, whatever, so on and so forth," yes, but they might be under the Chief Justice John Roberts or Associate Judge Samuel Alito. And see, here's how this works. When a case goes to the Supreme Court, or I'm sorry, when a case goes to a federal court, it just doesn't go directly to the Supreme Court. What's supposed to happen is that it goes to one of these districts, okay? And basically it goes to a Russian roulette. Okay, 9th district is your turn. Okay, 10th district is your turn. Okay, 8th district is your turn. Okay, 7th district is your turn. Yes, each district is supervised by a member of the Supreme Court. Perfectly said, yes. And it's Russian roulette. So it's not selected because someone just says, we're going to just push this over to that one. We're just going to push that one over to this one. No, it's Russian roulette. It's not purposely done because someone wanted to be a partisan dick. It's not how that works. So when I hear someone say, "Oh, that person is just partisan and they just don't like Trump and so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada." Well, if that was the case, then one of these judges over here can say, now you know you done fucked up, right? Oh, okay. And every person who says that shit shows, just when you hear that, just say you're being partisan. You are projecting. Because when it was a Republican ruling against Obama, I didn't hear any of that shit. Nah, I didn't hear any of that shit at all. Now, so when a federal judge comes in and says, no, this is not lawful, they're acting as a part of the judiciary, not part of any other branch of the government. But they're acting under the rulership or the authority of a Supreme Court justice. Dummies. They're doing exactly what the fuck they're supposed to do, provided that a case is brought to them. So yes, a single solitary district judge can tell a president, provided that the president is a plaintiff, a defendant rather, in a case, that you can't do that. Oh, yes. Who did that? Who said that? Yes. Who? Wait. Yes. Thank you. It also means that the Supreme Court justice oversees 2 districts. Thank you. Because there are how many? 11. And there's only 9, which means expanding the court to at least 11 would give each judge or each justice 1 district to oversee. That is correct. Thank you for being an eagle eye. Yes. Yes. And when they refuse a case, it goes back to the lower court. Or how about that immunity case where everyone seems to think that the Supreme Court just gave Trump absolute immunity? Did they? Oh, no. That's not exactly what happened. You see, he has presidential immunity, but only for actions which are presidential. Which means the case that's currently about to happen, and I believe it's in August, of his election interference, they then have to now were part of his presidential roles, which means now all of the evidence has to actually come forth in order for it to be properly vetted. You see. Dumbass. Because see, here's the thing about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court does not want its power challenged. You see, Trump seems to think that the Supreme Court owes him their allegiance. It doesn't. They don't want their power challenged, and they don't like being told that they owe somebody something. That's why their position should remain at a point where they have life tenure, or at least 20-year tenures. Maybe 10, but definitely 15. Somewhere in there. This is the reason why. Because they can go and throw up the big old middle finger and say, I'm here. And how do you like that? This is the reason why. Now, folks, to the last bit of business for tonight. I think I've rocked the mindset of how we've come to some point because we have the good old Mike Johnson, who is threatening to essentially tell the judiciary that threaten them and saying that if you do not do what if you keep going against our dear orange leader, our cult member, we're going to defund you. Oh, yes. Didn't you know that Congress actually has power now? Amazing. Exquisite. So our dear leader goes to Congress and says, look, they're not letting my stuff through. Do something, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson says, okay. I'll show you. Where's that article? Right here. Come through, receipts. Issues chilling new threat to anti-Trump judges nationwide. Anti-Trump or just anti-lawlessness? We do have authority over the federal courts. Do you? Wait a second. Doesn't that mean all the bullshit that Clarence Thomas was doing all this time, you could have reined that guy in all this time? You mean that guy? No, wait, say it ain't so. We do have authority over the federal courts. Johnson shared at a press conference Tuesday. We do have power over funding, over the courts, and all these other things. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and Congress is going to act. Look at them satellite ears. That has got to be the bluest suit I've ever seen. Here's a question. But the Supreme Court can enforce laws and relies on who to enforce the ruling/judgment. Let's see. Let's answer the question directly. But the Supreme Court can't enforce laws and relies on who to enforce its rulings/judgment. It relies on the executive to enforce the law. Yes. However, I got a twist for you. And it lies within the U.S. Marshals. Still within the executive branch, but the U.S. Marshals themselves don't necessarily abide by presidential command. They abide by law, not presidential command. They abide by the judiciary or the laws therein. So the U.S. Marshals if need be, can be pulled by the judiciary. If you read the title for the title within the USC for the U.S. Marshals, they actually don't necessarily follow orders or commands or whatever from the actual United States president. They follow orders or laws. So they follow orders or commands from the law, not the president. So good one there. But yes, predominantly yes. In most cases, without the special invocation of the U.S. Marshal, yes, the judiciary relies on the executive to execute the rulings. Yes. Yo, my man with dag nabbit on super chats, man. Message to the House Speaker Johnson. Have you ever heard of the term conflict of interest? Because trying to push such a legislation can cost you more than your gavel. Absolutely, my guy. Yes, in freaking deed. Okay, what else we gonna play for this guy? You know what? I don't know. I like the pastor, so here we go. Give it a play. Come on, go. Hey, yo, shout out to Antoine. All right, appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right, so with that in mind, it is going to cost them more than his gavel. All right, and the military works for the president, who will take the marshals out. Okay, that right there would be mutiny, and no militant is going to work against civilians without there being a situation of how do I put this? No militant is going to actively work against the government in such a lewd and vicious way. There we go. There's your answer. The marshals fall under the command of the Justice Department, and they are a subgroup that answers to the juridical portion of the justice of the judiciary. I'm gonna have to. I may have to pull up the United States Code for y'all on that one. Okay. But you have to read what is there about the United States Marshals, because they have their own code, and the specificities of the code is that they can actually arrest you without a warrant, and that's anybody, especially under the direct authority or the direct say so or decree of a judge. So understand that a marshal is not an officer in a sense that they are like a cop or anything of that nature. They're like a superpower in a sense within the federal government. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. So I'll have to look it up for you guys and show it to you to show you how that works relative to the judiciary being able to pull rank and pull the U.S. Marshals out and away from the executive branch and pull rank. All right. And this is why I say to you that the military is not going to act in the way you think relative to the actions of a president. Check it out.
Or a dictator. And we don't.
Oops. I'm going to try this again. Here we go.
Country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that it's America, and we're willing to die to protect it. Every soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Guardian, and Coast Guardsman, each of us commits our very life to protect and defend that document, regardless of personal price.
Okay. And so that's why I say when someone says that boom, thank you. Hey, love it when someone else backs up what it is I'm saying. So you say, hopefully that holds up. I'm telling you. U.S. Marshal, FBI agent, Secret Service agent, or any member of the government agency can arrest the president under the orders of Attorney General, and they can and specifically the marshals, they can under the authority of the judiciary. They're the only ones under the authority of the judiciary, but any of the rest of them under the authority of the Attorney General. I'm telling you. He's not safe because he's the president. But when you say things like, isn't spineless, no, Marco is not the Attorney General. Marco is the Secretary of State. The Attorney General is Paula, or Pam. Sorry, Pam. Pam. I forget the last name. This is the reason why checks and balances. So if there is a rogue Attorney General, you have the judiciary who's able to come in and say, okay, the executive is acting as in contempt of court. So take, for instance, the situation where Trump flew out the migrants over to Venezuela against the judge's order. Well, he has the possibility of ruling the administration in contempt of court. Do you see what I'm saying? If there was no mechanism in place to enforce contempt of court, then how could a contempt of court to anybody in the government and within the corporation of the United States be effective? There has to be a mechanism, and the mechanism is that right beside the judge is a marshal, just like right beside the president is a Marine, and inside of the Congress is a sergeant of arms. Besides somebody is somebody to do something. There has to be, in order for there to be a check and balance. And the problem that we're currently having now is that there are people who voted for this man who seems to think that there aren't those things in place to provide that check and balance. I hear some fucktard idiot on YouTube, and if he hears this and he knows who I'm talking about, then I'm talking about you, who says that that Elon Musk is, when he goes into certain places in the government, that he's acting as a proxy to the president, and therefore he has all the protections of the president when he goes. What are these cretins talking about? No, only the president has the protections of the president. Nobody else does. Not even the vice president has the protections of the president. Fucking retards, man. Like, if that be the case, that means everybody in the office of the executive would have the same immunity as the president does. And that's definitely not what the Supreme Court said. And that's definitely not what any document says. That's definitely not what the ruling authority of the Department of Justice has, where it says that they will not indict or prosecute a president, says. God, dang, Antoine, yo, sir, salute to you. So the office of the presidency is not a person, it's an institution. No one, not even Cheeto Jesus, is above that. Yo, bro, facts. It's this cult mentality. And again, this cult mentality is going to, mark my fucking words, I am going to say it and watch it come to fucking fruition. This cult mentality is going to go away if once the White House turns back blue. I promise you, it's going to go away. And all of a sudden, we're going to have law and order. Law and order. It's going to go away immediately. Watch. Guarantee it's going to go away. It's fucking amazing. And I'm going to say this, and for real, I'm going to leave, is the invocation or the use of the Alien Enemies Act is being used wrong, folks. And I may not have enough time to actually go into it tonight, but the use of the Alien Enemies Act is actually being used incorrectly. Now, this I will go into the actual United States Code for. Click here and go here. Let's break it down, shall we, folks? GovRegs. Ah, yes. We're not going to read the whole entire thing, but I want you guys to read this with me. All right. Title 50, Chapter 3, Subsection 21. Restraint, regulation, and removal. This is really the section that you really need to hear. Whenever there is a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, please clock this, please. Whenever there is a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government. Are we currently in war with anybody? It gets better. Or any invasion or predatory incursion is perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government. Okay, this might apply here. Let's see. And the president makes a public proclamation of the event. All natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects of the hostile nation Ooh, wait. Hostile. This is why I fucking love doing this shit. Okay. I get a kick. Those of you who know, I get a kick out of reading fucking law and shit for whatever fucking reason. I just do. The fucking USC. One day I will explain to you guys how a bill becomes a law. It comes out of a goddamn committee, it goes into goddamn bill, it goes into a law, and then it gets spliced into public law, United States Code, CFR. It goes down into the goddamn it just goes in different places, and one of the places it goes and it gets categorized into the United States Code like this. Now, this is very important. Or subjects of the hostile nation or government. The hostile nation or government. That means the meaning what? For which we have declared war as the United States and such foreign nation or fucking government. That means if you have declared that a Mexican, for instance, I'm Mexican, by the way, but if you've declared that a Mexican is such citizen or denizen or just a subject, that the nation for which that person's ethnicity aligns with, you're in war with that nation. Now, come on, y'all, put it together. Put it the fuck together. That means that for every ethnicity that you deport, you have to be at war with that nation. I'm just a bill, just a lonely old bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Come on, y'all. Now, I'm sitting here joyous because my bachelor degree educated ass can see that this shit here is being wrongly fucking used. Damn the rest of this shit. Just the precursor is being used. The perfunctory bullshit is being used wrong. So now all those Venezuelan gang members, are we at war with Venezuela? No, because the person that was on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying oops like schoolgirl children, the leader of Venezuela at the point in time recently was on Twitter saying oops too late. Him and Bronzer and Chief like butt buddies. Oops. Seem awfully friendly to me. Doesn't seem like we're in war with them at all, does it? This is what happens when you just pick apart a portion of the law and then you just say, yep, we're just going to use that. But then you don't read that motherfucker. So I don't care what the president is authorized to fucking do or how a treaty could be associated or how the other parts of the country's police officers and sheriffs and other enforcement portions are able to fucking, I don't give a fuck, because it all means nothing if this shit right here is void. Bro, are you serious right now? Fucking bro. Yo, shout out to fucking Antoine, man. All right, yo, fucking salute to this man. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, all right, pursuing invariably the same object, okay, evinces a design, all right, to reduce them under absolute despotism. All right, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, all right, and to provide new guards for the future security, for their future security. Man, salute to you, man. Shout out to you for the $100 goddamn super chat, man. Oh my fucking god, man. Salute to you, bro. God damn, man. Whoa. Hey, yo, whoa, man. God damn. Okay, whoa. All right. Okay, all right. Here we go. All right, listen. All right, yo, I'm gonna play a bunch of these goddamn things real quick. All right. Here we go.
They said big bag bitch, get to the bag. They said big bag bitch, you want a snack? Well, this big bag bitch, she got the stack. So put big bag bitch clothes on the rack. Ooh, on the macaroni, move and shake it for me. Ooh, we shaking and quaking. The brands are phony. Ooh, the brands are phony. Ooh, they need a Tony. They need an Emmy, Oscar, Grammy, cause the shit baloney. The way they be faking like they're making all the sizes. If you ain't got at least a 4X, you ain't trying. Ooh, so give it to us, baby. Give us a got. Give it to us when we step on the spot.
Whatever you want, whoa, whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Oh, whatever you need, then nothing I won't do. Oh, whatever you want, my heart belongs to you. I say whatever you need. Whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Whatever you need, there's nothing I won't do. Whatever you want, my heart belongs to you.
Got a red room, it's the red down when the sun sets in my bedroom. Oh, it feels like I'm inside a flower. It feels like I'm inside my eyelid. It feels like I'm inside a flower.
Hey, shout out to you, my brother. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Salute to you again. Hey, you deserve the you deserve the floor, my guy. Appreciate you. All right. So as we bring this to a close, look, hey, state of our union, man. What can I say? All right. It's in shambles, bro. Like I don't know. I don't know no other way of putting it. All right. And when we try to tell you that it was gonna be an issue, Y'all fuckers didn't want to listen. You didn't want to listen. You didn't want to listen. But we are going to continue telling you about the fuckery that you fuckers voted for. It's going to be amazing. Not really, but so. I'm the chosen one. We're going to keep telling you that you fucked up. All right? Fuck around and continue to fucking find out. All right? Okay? All right, and the best fucking Trump impersonation that I can fucking get, okay? All right, and the best one that I can possibly fucking give you, all right? It's gonna keep getting better, all right? Because we just gotta laugh through the goddamn pain, all right? Because I can't. You should see all of the goddamn articles that I have. It's just so fucking much, all right? And it's gonna get worse before it gets better, okay? I mean, it oh yes. Wait, I gotta do it. I gotta wait, hold on. I gotta get it back. I love Teslas. Oh my god. I love Teslas. Show us Teslas. It's gonna be great. All right. Listen. The motherfucker is like using laws incorrectly. Okay. And if I don't get anything across to anybody in my time here, it's this. Read what's coming out. These executive orders, half of them are nothing more than baked up grievances from the right. I mean, I didn't get a chance to talk about it today, but I'm going to mention it now, and I'm going to talk about it next week. Next week, or the next part of the series here. And that's going to be about the fact that a judge just ruled that, kicking out trans people out of the military is, what do you know? Unconstitutional. Well, no shit. It's unconstitutional. Think what you want to about them. You can't just kick motherfuckers out because you don't like them. It's unconstitutional, folks. How about that? It's funny to me when you vote your hate, your disdain, your dislike, your fear, your religion, and then the person you vote in is fucking you in all the ways that really matter over some shit that really doesn't. I can think of some ways that things does matter. Like the equity in my home just went down. The equity in your home go down? Those of you who have homes? Yes, Lady D. Black men did vote for the psychopath. If you let data speak for it, 22%. So maybe if women are representing of maybe If there's four women for every one man, it's 4-to-1 ratio. So 22% of black people voted for Trump. So that means that roughly 22%, 22. So that means what? Of the 22%, that means 75% are women. Oops. Gotcha. Oh, come on, Lady D. You know how to get you. Took me a second to think about that there for a second. Bear with me. But yes, black men, by your statement, you are correct. Black men did vote for the psychopath. And we all gonna have to deal with the pain, unfortunately. But what I find funny is when I hear the opportunity for some people to talk about their wonderful Trump savior, crickets. Instead, let's talk about Democrats. Democrats. Really? Democrats. Democrats ain't got shit to do with shit right now. It's all the Republican stage right now. So let's hear more of the jovial and effervescent, joy and triumphant, bellicosing joy and success of the Republicans. Let's go. It's a bunch of y'all, one of me. So do you think Kamala Harris would be better? That's an interesting question. At this rate, yes. But let's be a little objective. Just a little bit. I know one thing. If a judge said that you can't do that, she wouldn't be trying to tell people that let's impeach that judge. The foundation of our country would be okay, would be intact. The Alien Enemies Act wouldn't be used to get rid of, I don't know, legal migrants at the very least. We could at least be talking to her about getting rid of illegal immigrants at the very least. There could be at least a conversation about that. For those of us Democrats who are at least a bit conservative. Just a start. Just start. Social Security wouldn't have received a single cut, like at least $10 million of a cut at all. No one would be sitting here worried about dead people in Social Security receiving funds, and someone misreading information that they don't understand. And we definitely wouldn't be having children having access to our Social Security information. Humbug, so much. Is that the question you really want to ask? And that's the problem. So instead, we have a Cheeto male. I'd rather have a melanated female than a Cheeto male who's doing this shit. The entire time Biden was in office, my equity in my home was constantly going up. Never saw a depreciation. Ever. This man gets in office not more than 90 days and it's already decreasing. And Canada never, ever, ever wanted to deprovince and become federalized. And the one tiny border that we share with Russia, yeah, you guys don't know that we actually share a border with Russia, by the way. Shh. But the one tiny border that we do share with Russia on the tip of an island between Alaska and Russia, never seemed so close. But sure. Let's vote for someone and let's get someone in here who writes, hold on. Let's go. Shall we? I feel like being a little bit of consternatious. Where to go? Now, why did it take me here? Oh, here we go. They've done a wonderful little tracking. 149 executive orders thus far, not even that long in office. And some of the things don't even have authority to actually do the things he's actually doing. And out of the 149, I can only think of maybe 5 that actually doesn't even have legal challenge. So you'd have to excuse me. Yeah, I think she would have done better. 100% better. And mind you, she clocked everything that he was going to do, and he's doing it. And here's the thing. Y'all still haven't admitted that we were right about what we said he was going to do. Waiting. So let's not challenge me yet. Let's just acknowledge first that he's going to do, or that he has done what I said he was going to do. Irrespective if he was the great author of Project 2025 or not. Let's acknowledge. Hey, yo, Prince. Salute to you, my brother. Hey, somebody from the TikTok side. Good to see you, sir. Let's acknowledge that I was correct about what him doing what I said that he was going to do. And then we can have a conversation. What's bad about what I said that he was going to do? Let's see. I guess she was able to clock it because of her feminine intuition. Wait, hang on. So what's bad about what he's... Bro, I've spent literally 2 hours and 56 minutes clocking what it is that was bad about what he's doing. And it's not so much as far as the policies in itself. Listen, it's part of it is the policies. Yes. The other part of it is the literal destruction of our entire foundation of our government. And I don't know about you, and I don't know about a lot of civilians, but when I took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution from enemies, foreign and domestic, I take that very seriously. So let me ask a question. What president has done anything for black people? Seriously asking for a friend. It is not about what people do for black people. I think people honestly miss the point. For this guy here, it ain't about what he's doing for black people. It's now about what he's doing against black people. It's the point. I'd rather you get in there and do fuck all nothing for black people and leave the shit that's been done for black people the fuck alone. Leave shit alone that has been there for black people. It ain't much that's been there. But most importantly, a lot of people love to say that this bitch got up there and said, I'm not going to do anything for black people. She's been misquoted so many fucking times and I'm sick of fucking hearing it. I'm not going to do anything just. There is a key 4-letter fucking word that she said, just for black people. So what the word for today? Efficacious. That's the word for today, Prince Charming. Efficacious. How efficacious is this president? And he's not. Oh, actually, no. He is very efficacious. He's very efficaciously fucking up this damn country, but he's efficaciously fucking it up and by destroying it brick by fucking brick, but by destroying the foundation of its constitution. Not the constitution as in we the people, no, the constitution as in how it's made up structurally. And by the way, if motherfuckers want a dictator, just say it. Just get up here, press a little button, and just say you want a dictator. Just say it. Just fucking say it. If you want an oligarchy, just say it. If you want an autocrat, just say it. If you want a mango megalomaniac who runs a oligarchical theocracy, who thinks he's a dictatorial autocrat, just say it. Say it and stop fucking around and saying it and acting like you believe in the we the people, for the people, by the people, and stop walking around here placating as if you believe in the fucking Constitution, because really you don't. Because when the man sat here and said and threatened the Article 1 of the not Article 1, the First Amendment, by going after the goddamn press, you motherfuckers were silent. Nothing to say. Crickets. So we can cancel shit for black people. I'm sorry. Minorities. Can't say the DI is for black people because it was predominantly for white women. Even though that the Lyndon B. Johnson portion of the executive order was specifically for equal opportunity, and what was happening around 1965? What the fuck was happening around 1965? What was happening around 1965? Fuck. When the fuck was MLK shot? You dumb fucks. What was happening around 1965, fucks? What was happening? God damn. Put it together. Oh. Sure, he was racist. Okay, yes, absolutely, sure. Probably classist more than racist, but okay, cool, racist, cool. Your point. And so was Lincoln. Your point. I don't get it. Uh-oh. Return question. Andrew or Lyndon? I'm talking about Lyndon, not Andrew. The point that I'm making here is that 1965, if I recall correctly, MLK was shot in 1968. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, I'm sitting in front of a computer. But I do recall looking it up already. But I do recall Lincoln. Why I keep saying Lincoln? MLK was shot in 1968. The Civil Rights Act was 1965. There ain't but a few things in the federal government that touches us directly. So why fuck with it? Why? Why? Where's my guy? Where's my guy? Where's he at? Where's my guy? Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why?
Why fuck with it? BMU, do I need to show you the video again? Were you awake or around when I showed you about the white guy talking about DEI? Because apparently that didn't silence you enough. Okay. Correct. I don't disagree with that. Don't disagree with the fact that he probably was racist. I don't disagree with a lot of them being so. What is your point? Again, so was Lincoln. He didn't free people because he was a good Samaritan. He did it to prove a point. I don't care how shit happens, so as long as shit happens. Just because he did it for a fucked up reason doesn't mean it still wasn't good for us. Who cares why Lincoln did what he did? The fact of the matter is, when he did what he did, the white people were pissed off because they lost their property. So who was more egregious? The white man who released the black people for a purpose, or the white people who were mad they lost their property? Okay. But the point is that the equal opportunity portion of the EO was beneficial. Okay. See, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Cue the music. One of President Trump's. I zoomed in too much. Zoom out. Zoom out. Retract. accepting. Come on, shit. Now zoom in slowly, slowly. Thank you. Now I already accepted and I already answered the question. Thank you. One of President Trump's first executive orders fundamentally upends the time-consuming and costly affirmative action requirements that federal contractors have followed for years by signing the January 1st, 2025 executive order titled "Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity." President Trump revoked Executive Order 11246, a law that prohibited federal contractors and subcontractors from discriminating against employees and required the development of affirmative action plans. With this new executive order, federal contractors must stop implementing diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI, and other affirmative action efforts that seek to rebalance the workforce as EO 11246 required. Employers are now on alert that President Trump's second term in office has prioritized the elimination of preferences of any sort in employment. Background of 11246. The most imminent impact of President Trump's executive action is the revocation of 11246, a 60-year-old order from Lyndon B. Johnson that was issued on the heels of another landmark law prohibiting discrimination in the workplace, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Executive order was directed at federal contractors and subcontractors, and both laws prohibited discrimination in employment based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. Let's try again. It prohibited discrimination in the employment in employment based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. So irrespective to what you may believe or think or feel about Lyndon B. Johnson, that is what the EO did. The EO went further and mandated that contractors develop and implement affirmative action plans, a complex and expansive process overseen and enforced by the Office of Federal Contractor Compliance programs within the U.S. Department of Labor. The EO 11246 was also later amended to include prohibitions on discriminating based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The OFCCP had developed a robust compliance program based on audits, investigations, and regulations to ensure the contractors complied with 11246 affirmative action requirements. So here you are sitting here foaming at the mouth at the fact that someone who wrote the shit said what they said, fuck what they said, look at what they did. And now here's Trump saying what he said, and you're ignoring what the fuck he did or what he's doing. Now make that make fucking sense to me. The Vatican and not the Constitution. Oh, wait, hang on. Interesting. Did not know that. Thanks, Antoine. It's baffling to me It's really baffling to me. Federal contractors, particularly large ones, I wonder which one. I don't know. Often employ teams of attorneys and statisticians to meet laws and requirements. That's it. That's it. Now, where I can understand there may be some issues where you might want to adjust and say, okay, DEI may have gone a little bit too far, and say, maybe we should have quotas on federal grants, because maybe there aren't some black people who just aren't into dentistry. Maybe there aren't black people who are into this particular field. Sure, it's kind of hard to find particularly black people or diverse people, whatever, in certain hub zones, for instance, for hub zone contracts. That makes sense. Again, a part of contracting, I kind of understand the struggle. That makes sense. But to completely scrap it and then come by and justify it because of some racist comment that the person made, that's a straw man's argument at best. That's pulling at straws at best. That's really trying to twist yourself into pretzels to try to justify some shit that y'all gaslit me directly, saying that some shit wasn't gonna fucking happen. And now you're grasping for fucking straws, saying it's okay because Lyndon B. Johnson said X, Y, Z. No, y'all said this shit wasn't gonna fucking happen. And we had nothing to worry about in that, and that we were just what? Fear mongering. And now the shit's fucking happening left from fucking right. You can't even turn on the goddamn TV, and they're just ping ponging new shit all over the goddamn place. And now someone like myself is coming in and saying, here's how this is detrimental to the union. Damn the policy right now. Here's how it's detrimental to the fucking union. You have the judiciary fighting with the goddamn Congress. Congress fighting with the goddamn Congress is basically bending over and taking it from the fucking executive at this point in time with no lube and with plenty sand. And the only thing that certain Trump supporters can say is a one single solitary voting issue. Well, it's a good thing that certain people aren't able to play sports with certain people, or it's a good thing that our Christian values are this, or it's a good thing this, or it's a good thing that, or it's a good thing this. Their single solitary issue that they fucking voted for. Pick your topic for the day. And everything else be damned. Fuck the Constitution, fuck the judiciary, fuck the goddamn legislators, fuck the goddamn rights of people who actually came through the legal ports of entry, because for years that's what y'all all fucking talked about was if you just come through the legal ports of entry, and meanwhile you got Visa card holders getting kicked the fuck out of here without goddamn due process. And due process is what you promise these people. And not a fucking word about any of that shit. Fox ain't covered that shit. No. Mm-mm. Now, I think egg prices are just fine now. Meanwhile, motherfuckers losing their goddamn ranches, motherfuckers losing their farms, veterans are losing their goddamn jobs. Imagine being a veteran, voted for Trump, and lost a fucking job due to someone that you didn't fucking elect. Imagine that shit. Oh, my word. Gotta sting. Mm. So ask me again, do I think Kamala Harris would have done a better job? I dare you. Because we can go down law for law. We can go down, we can go down United States Code by United States Code. All right, and we're back. All right, there we go. The computer just decided to just restart mid-live. All of a sudden, I have no idea why. All right. Yeah, I know I froze. You get fired on your day off? Yeah, no, it literally just decided to just just restart midway through the live all of a sudden. I have no idea why. But anyway, I was gonna say, I was talking shit, and I said I was asking BMU to just ask me again if Kamala Harris would actually do a better job or not. Essentially. But that was the fastest goddamn restart I've ever seen in my life. Literally everything just went dark. At any rate, but I would dare anybody to ask me if Kamala would do a better job. Now, to be fair, I don't know if when it comes to policy, if everything would be, just amazing. Well, at that rate, no president would just do amazing. No president has. But I can tell you what, we're not going to have constitutional goddamn crises. But again, if you want this shit to just fall the fuck apart, just say that, people. Just say that. Just say we want a new form of government and we're tired of Congress and we're tired of the judiciary and we want our military tribunes and we want a president to just say what it's going to be and we want a president to just rule forever. like Russia. Just say that. Get it over with. But stop gaslighting the rest of America. At any rate, it's been real. I've gone over enough stuff today. I think I'm done with. I guess people are done with asking me questions about if I think that Kamala would do better or whatever the case may be. I dare anyone to continue asking me that dumb shit. Okay. Because every day, oh, look, here we go. Elon Musk issues ominous message to Representative Maxine Waters. After Melania Trump does what? What does she do? After Melania Trump threatens somebody, the green card holder herself. It's amazing to me. I told you, as soon as I open up a new tab, it's more shit. Biden's presidency was boring, and that's the way it should be. I can't even open up and see if interest rates are going up and going down. Why? Because it's constant bullshit. So before anybody comes talk to me about whether or not a choice was great or not, or whatever the case may be, how about y'all just admit yet again whether or not just admit that we were right. Admit that y'all were gaslighting us. Or just admit that y'all just didn't expect that some shit was going to be the way that it was. How about that? One of the two. Or otherwise, just admit that y'all are in fucking delusion and y'all just didn't expect it to be this bad. But y'all know that some shit ain't right. And don't use the fact that someone back in the past, in the 60s, said some racist shit. Tell me something I don't know. Or maybe what would be more surprising is if I were to save 15% or more on my fucking car insurance. Because you'd be hard pressed to not find someone who was racist back in the fucking 60s. Anyway, shout out to Antoine for all that he did tonight. I'm humbled because that's the first time that I've ever gotten a goddamn or ever engendered a super chat for the fam. So salute to you on both sides. Okay, I appreciate it. It's been real for this one. All right, stay tuned for part 2 of the State of Our Union because man, the material is mwah for this guy. Okay, it's great. Okay, I can't wait to see what Judge Boasberg is going to do next, and stay tuned for what's going to happen in the court for the DC District Court. The judges who were able to tell the president to go fuck himself. Good to go. All right, but for this series, I'm going to tell you all to read, to study, to learn, read, study, learn, okay? And in your reading, be objective, okay? And whatever you learn and find out, you be sure to stand on that shit, all right? Good night, everybody. Salute to you.